Hey everybody, Eric here on Wednesday, October 5th, but you're not going to see this until Thursday, October 6th at the earliest. That's if you watch it the day it's posted. It's too late for me to post this today, so I'll set it up to post tomorrow. These are the comic books that I picked up this week, an incredibly light week. Like, even lighter than I expected. We can dive right in and get this over with. First up is Shock Shop, number 2 from Dark Horse, Cullen Bunn, horror anthology. It's a flip book. I really love this cover. That cover's not bad. There was another copy with 2 different covers. It was a tough choice. Each one had a really good cover on at least one side, and the other cover was, fine. Nothing wrong with it at all, but one that I really liked, and I really liked this one. I went with this one, obviously. Shock Shop number 2. 2 horror stories for the price of 2. Next up, Basilisk number 12 from Boom Studios, Cullen Bunn. I think I've speculated about this before, but I can unequivocally state now this is the last issue, at least of this run. Whether or not he's going to do a sequel, I can't say, but this is the last issue of this run of Basilisk. It's been a really good book. It'll be interesting to see how it ends. And now that it's done, I think there's probably a trade paperback with the first half, but it should all be collected soon for those of you who like collected stuff. That's it for the floppies. But speaking of collected stuff, I did get one trade paperback, and that is She-Hulk, Jen Again. This is Volume 1. It's from Marvel. Volume 1 of the current run, written by New York Times bestselling author Rainbow Rowell, however you say that name. I'm a fan of She-Hulk. I'm enjoying the show, and very excited for this because it has the return of a character I love who was killed a decade ago, 15 years ago. I don't even remember how long ago this character was killed off. And they come back. I don't know if this is, pretty sure like this is their comeback. They are in the Silver Surfer Reborn or Rebirth, whatever it's called. But I don't know timeline wise how that works. Anyway, I'm just teasing. Character I loved finally coming back. And I like She-Hulk too. So, and this has issues 1 through 5 of She-Hulk. That's it. That is all I picked up this week. That is super light. Especially for me. So my question for this video is, and I'm gonna, this will be for comic books, but we'll expand it out because I know not everybody is a huge comic book fan that watches this. Books or movies or TV shows, we'll expand it to all of that sort of pop culture. What character who has been dead would you like to see return? Now, I suppose I could say, if we want to stretch it, we could say what character that just has sort of disappeared, hasn't been around, would you like to see make a return? But since in this book is a character who was dead, that's going to be the main focus of this question. What character in comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, whatever, what dead character would you like to see come back? If any. Maybe you don't like the whole dead folks coming back. Of course, it happens in comics all the time. And the saying used to be, nobody stays dead except for Bucky and Uncle Ben. And, of course, Bucky's back. He's the Winter Soldier. Uncle Ben is still dead, though. Robin was killed. He came back as Red Hood. Death isn't very permanent in comic books, and but sometimes I like to see these characters come back, and I'm interested in what they're doing with the character that I keep teasing. Um, so aside from this character that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that wants to read the She-Hulk, uh, what dead character? That's a difficult question because I can't think. I would say, and I could be completely off about this character may be back. The way DC um, reboots and reboots and reboots, I'm not sure who the current Firestorm is. So my answer would be Ronnie Raymond Firestorm. I was a huge, huge fan of Firestorm the Nuclear Man. I'm looking at an issue that's hanging on the wall right there. I wish I wish there was a collected volume. So if he's not back through any of the reboots or crises or whatever, that's going to be my pick, just off the top of my head, and because I looked up and saw it. Ronnie Raymond Firestorm. Loved that character. With Professor What's-His-Name in his head. I can't remember. Oh, I should. I should know it. But I do not remember the professor's name. For those of you who don't know, Firestorm was a character who was actually an amalgam of two people, Ronnie Raymond and Professor. Oh, see, I was hoping it would pop into my head. There was a nuclear accident. They actually did this on the Flash TV show in the first season. But there was an accident, and basically Ronnie and the Professor became a single person. They became Firestorm, and it was kind of Ronnie's body, and he was in control with the Professor just in his head, and he could separate back into the two separate people, and then when he needed to be Firestorm, they'd have to. I don't remember if there was a distance thing, if there was any limitation, so like Ronnie could just want to change, and the Professor would be sucked in. And he seems like an overpowered character because he could basically transmute anything non-organic. So anything that wasn't organic or living, whatever the best term would be, he could change it to. He could, excuse me, change a piece of coal into gold or diamond or water or whatever he needed to do. And I think the only limit really on he had fire blasts and he's got fire coming out the top of his head. He could fly. But I think the only limit to his power was basically that Ronnie Raymond wasn't smart enough to necessarily think of things. And the Professor was smart, but in the heat of battle, he's not necessarily going to be able to think and tell Ronnie, hey, change this into this, and that'll fix things. Anyway, that's Firestorm. Really cool costume. I really liked his costume. I liked the character. So I would like to see Ronnie Raymond Firestorm. And Professor Stein. That's it. It's Professor Stein. Martin Stein, I think. I think I got the full name. Yes, I think it's Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein. All right. Well, I've rambled long enough. I just didn't want this to be like a 2 or 3 minute video. Although maybe that's what you'd like. Maybe that should be the question. Would you like shorter videos? Anyway, leave me an answer to any question I've asked down in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, you can put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith5757. That's Eric with a K. ERIKSMITH5757. Yeah, that's all I've got. Uh, yep, I think I covered everything. That's all I have this week. So until next week, read more comic books.